Hello and welcome to this revision guide then to English Paper 2. This is English Language Paper 2. I'd start off then with an overview of the whole paper, two sections, reading and writing, and today's video is going to focus on question A1, finding the facts, normally worth about 3 marks on the exam paper. As normal with any question in the exam, it's all about 75% ability and 25% technique. That is, you need to know how to answer each question to make sure you gain the most marks possible. Put another way, whatever level your skills are by the time you sit the exam, a 4 technique will drop you by a grade, if not more. If you study and revise for the test and learn what you need to do for each question and the types of question you will be asked, you'll be in a much better position to do as well as you possibly can in this style of test. Where paper 1 was centered around story writing or 20th century prose, paper 2 is going to be much more fact-based, in other words, non-fiction writing. You could be asked to analyse a letter, article, leaflet, guide, some kind of review, or a person's diary. The exam board tend to enjoy different bits that link to nature, so pieces of writing about animals or certain settings tend to be a favourite of the exam board, so don't be too surprised if you're asked a set of questions based on mountains or mines or something of that ilk. Here then is a very basic example of a non-fiction text. You can see it gives you basic information there, and the exam board will ask you 3 different questions. You need to read that information really carefully, making sure you understand exactly what the question is asking and ensuring then that you give the exact correct response. For example there, for question 1A, the question asks, how much does a police officer get paid as a starting salary? If you just gave 20,000 as your response, that would be incorrect. You would need the pound sign next to it. Question 1B asks, name one quality the police force are looking for. For that question then, you would need to look up only and write down only one quality the police force are looking for. The article itself, of course, gives you more than one answer. If you write more than one though, no marks. Equally 1C, just find the information and you write down your response to 1C. If you got 1 out of 3, that'd be a grade 3, 2 out of 3 would give you a grade 5, 3 out of 3 for this question gives you a grade 9 for this particular response. Here is then an actual exam-based answer. You can see at the top there, it tells you which article you'd be asked to read first. In this case, Antarctic Adventure. Then it asks you to look at the extract opposite and from a diary in this case. And then it makes very clear in bold which article of the 2 you need to look at and then asks you 3 questions about it. The number in brackets on the right hand side gives you how many marks each one is worth. Please do not write down more than one answer as that would lead you to a 0 mark. Equally, the exam board only give you around about 1 line to write your response, which implies they want a short, sharp answer from you. This is then how you might go about answering question 1 on paper 2 for your English language exam. First off, you read the question, then you read the text through carefully, particularly the section of the text they want you to focus on. You circle the information you think is relevant. You reread the question just to check you've got exactly the right information. And then you write down your answer in the box or space provided. Normally in this part of the exam, it is the reading the question carefully that costs people the marks. They need to read it really carefully to make sure they don't make any mistakes. Here is an example from the mark scheme for this question then. You can see the exam board are really specific in exactly what they want you to answer with. You can see there they've dictated that for 1A they will only accept he had walked onto dangerous crevasse, 1B will only accept 16 hours a day, and 1C will only accept he listened to Andrew Marr's History of Modern Britain. You can see they're very exact. Don't give the exam board any chance not to give you a mark. Be as exact as you can in your response for this question. Let's up the ante a little bit then. Let's look at a slightly more detailed text. And you can see the questions, but also the responses next to them. Each response is written in a sentence, just to ensure then that the 1 mark is definitely awarded by repeating parts of the question in the response. To give an example, let's have a look at 1b. What do you gain from sunshine? You gain vitamin D from sunshine. Looking at the article, you can see that response is in the middle of the middle column there, the bottom of the middle column. Vitamin D is what you gain, but I've made sure I get the mark by writing it into a sentence, just making sure I've answered the question set. As our final example in this revision guide, this is more of a full-length text, the kind of length you'd expect to see in paper 2. And you can see there this one's based on death on a mountain. You can see on the right-hand side 3 different questions you could be asked, the kind of line length they'd expect you to respond with, and how many marks each one is worth. You would read this article, and it dictates which part of the article you need to read before responding in 1 sentence only to each part of the question. If you got all 3 bits correct, you would get 3 marks out of 3 and will have passed with some ease this part of the exam. Thank you very much then for listening to this revision guide based around paper 2, question 1.